Hello, this is Chris with the Dallas Theological Seminary Media Center. Today I'd like to show you how to create a doctrinal synthesis paper. You are required to create these for ST101 to ST106, culminating in your ST106 doctrinal synthesis paper that puts all of them together. So this is a skill that you're going to need to know if you have to take any of the ST courses. Let me first show you what we're going to build. I've already created one of these in Microsoft Word. So here's the title, let's say Trinitarianism Doctrinal Statement. And here's what we're going to create. Each of our sections, brief statement, detailed exposition, practical implications, and explanatory notes. It's fairly straightforward, but if you don't know how to do each of these elements, it can be a little frustrating, and some students have a little confusion on how all of this will work. So to begin with, let me just state the obvious. There's no title page. There's also no bibliography. You're not required to have either of those for this particular assignment. Let me also state that each professor does have the leeway to alter this assignment just a little bit, but in general, this is what you're going to find. And on your course website, your professor will usually provide doctrinal statement instructions. And this is going to outline what they want in each of these sections: the brief statement, the detailed exposition, practical implications, and the explanatory notes. And generally, professors will provide this doctrinal statement structure instructions. If you don't have this, you will have a clearly laid out requirement inside your syllabus that will detail what each of these sections is supposed to entail. I'm just showing you how to build the assignment from the technical side of things. So let's get started and let's go ahead and create a document just like this one. I'm going to go to File, New. I don't have a template for this. To begin with, I'm going to go ahead and change over to Times New Roman. Everything should be in Times New Roman. Now, to begin with, I'm going to insert a title, and I'm just going to call this Trinitarianism Doctrinal Synthesis Paper. And since this is my title, it's okay to put this center, and also it's okay to make this a little bigger. I'm just going to go ahead and let's see what 22 looks like. That looks just fine to me. I'm going to press Enter. And you're going to notice that it's keeping this center justification. Let's go ahead and move back to our left justification. And let's go ahead and downsize to 12-point font. I'm just going to reference the doctrinal statement instructions here. We have our brief statement to start with. So I'm going to type in brief statement. Next, we have our detailed exposition. Next, we have our practical implications. And finally, we have our explanatory notes. All right, so we have each of these sections. However, they don't quite look the same as they do in this example they've given. What we want to do is change the color to white. However, that's going to make this disappear because it's on a white background. So then we want to change the highlighting over to black. Now we've got our section headers. I'm going to put space in between each of these. And the only other issue you're going to have is when you go back to type in this brief statement, you'll see that it's actually using the same format as above. We don't want that. In order to change this, I'm going to highlight, go over to our font color, take it back to black, and the highlighting to no color. Now what you'll see is I have text in between here that is normal. I'm going to go ahead and highlight. Before I do that, let me go ahead and insert some dummy text inside each of these sections. All right, so I've got dummy text inside these sections, but I want to fix the way it appears. Let me show you a quick shortcut. I'm going to go up here to the Format Painter, and you'll see that in the paintbrush in the home icon. I'm going to double click on this, and that will allow me to copy the text that I have highlighted and then paste that text style over top of any other style. So in essence, that saves us time in having to go through each time and change these two. That's, again, the Format Painter, and you can find that in the Home tab of Microsoft Word. So now we have each of these sections. The only other thing in our detailed exposition section, we are going to have a number of endnotes. So let me show you how to insert an endnote. I'm using a Mac computer. You can do this also using a PC, but in a Mac you go up to the Insert key and you choose Footnote. I know we're looking for endnotes, but go with me for a minute. Click on the footnote and you have these two options at the top. Do you want a footnote or do you want an endnote? We want endnotes. We want them at the end of the document. And then we want to change to 1, 2, 3. We don't want Roman numerals. They can be confusing when you get up into the 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you should have that many endnotes. So, for the sake of the grader, let's go ahead and insert an endnote. And you'll notice it shows up right here under explanatory notes. That's what this section should look like. You should just have a number of notes. I'm going to copy a citation from Zotero and paste that into this section. If you want more information on Zotero, please check out our Introduction to Zotero video, where Debbie Hun from the library provides a great introduction to this software. But I'm going to go ahead and paste in that citation. And let's say I cited from page 95. This is how your footnotes should appear. You should have your standard footnote style citation. And once again, I mentioned before, the doctrinal synthesis papers do not have a bibliography and they do not require a title. So this is all you're going to need to do. You'll have your brief statement, which according to the notes here is 150 to 200 words. You'll have your detailed exposition, which is allowed 500 to 750 words. Your practical implication, 500 to 750, and that might change according to your professor, so check with your professor. And then you have finally the explanatory notes, which in general should be 3 to 5 pages. That's usually what professors stipulate, but again, check your syllabus there. The only other issue I have here, when I pasted this citation in, it pasted in Calibri. So I'm going to go in here to the document endnotes. I'm going to select the text and change this to Times New Roman. And there's a little flexibility on font size. Generally, font size is 11, but if you need a little flex there, generally professors will flex with you in terms of the actual size of your endnote font. All right, so this has been a brief introduction to the doctrinal synthesis paper style and how to create it from a technical standpoint. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us in the Media Center and we'd be happy to walk you through this process. Thank you very much.